This episode is brought to you by...
Looking to escape the ordinary and explore the extraordinary? Meet Jani Kovacevic, your personal luxury travel expert. Whether you're craving an epic expedition to the Arctic, a sun-soaked all-inclusive getaway, or a once-in-a-lifetime trip with the whole family, Jani curates every detail for a seamless, unforgettable experience.
From bucket list adventures to multi-generational family vacations, she tailors travel to your pace, your passions, and your people, with luxury every step of the way.
Don't just travel, explore in style, discover with ease, and make memories that last forever.
Call 254-721-2000 or visit travelbyjani.com and start planning your dream escape today.
They'll talk about anything and to anyone. They're straight out of the streets of Temple, Texas. It's Randomness with Heath and Josh.
All right, we're back. What's going on, Josh? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm
good.
I'm keeping all the plates spinning.
I'm good. Yeah, so episode 150, it's craziness. I'm going to be super honest. I didn't do a whole lot of thinking, and we threw this together last minute. So let's say a prayer. Please let this be good. Thank you. Sorry, Mom, I almost said the F word. So we're we're going to jump in real quick. So our buddy from episode 10, the 1993-94 Texas High School Typing State Champion, Jeremy Lawson, is with us. What's going on, Jeremy?
What is happening, gentlemen? How are you guys?
We're good, man. We're good.
Good.
Yeah, my first thought was so a lot of times when people ask us, or me in particular, hey, where should I start on an episode with us? And I'm like, listen to the first one, just because it's ridiculously stupid because we had no idea what we were doing. And then go to episode 10 because that's you. And they're like, why him? And I'm like, because it was a fun one. It was our first real fun. We had a good time because you're such a great person and you're such a fun person, to be honest with you. Being an actor and whatnot, I'm sure you're used to being on camera and, kind of ad-libbing a bit, and it just felt really fun.
Sure.
But being that it was 140 episodes, almost 3 years ago, man.
Wow.
Almost 3 years ago.
Wow.
What do you think has changed the most? Because I know you've listened to a bunch and now watched some, I hope, because we're doing YouTube.
His hairstyle's changed.
Yeah, yeah. But it's your perspective on us, I guess, from then to now.
Well, I think the main thing, because I do listen to a ton of the episodes, man. I'm really excited about what you guys do. I think you're doing a great job, and it seems to get better with each subsequent episode, which is huge. I mean, 150 podcast episodes is no joke, dude. In 3 years' time, that's a lot of work, a lot of hard work on you guys' part. What I think's the most noticeable from the very early shows to the more recent ones, your insights into the guests, I think, has become a little bit more fluent. Does that make sense? Like you're really, and the other thing that's great, it's always been a really cool, laid back conversational forum, but you guys have gotten really good about drawing some super interesting stuff out of people that I don't know they would necessarily volunteer if they weren't kind of coached along in that way. Which I think is the sign of a really good podcast, is that you have interesting guests on. You guys both have a very unique perspective on things. There's a through line where oftentimes it's people that you know from our upbringing or from where we grew up, or you have a way of bringing people that are totally from outside of this realm of Bell County into it in a way, which I think is also a really interesting kind of cohesive aspect to the episode. So it's been really fun to get to tune in and listen to you guys.
Well, and we have to thank you for some of it because you've gotten us some amazing people. I mean, I'm friends with Randall Reeder now. I mean, we text each other.
That's awesome, man. Randall's the best.
Yeah, he is so awesome, and I'll go ahead and put that out there. He's going to come back on the show. It just hasn't worked out. We've talked about a bunch, and one time it just didn't work. And we actually I had him on. Josh was out, and I was like, "Well, I'll have Randall on." And man, we had every technical difficulty, and he spent an hour with me trying to fix it. He spent an hour with me, so God bless him for doing that, because he did not have to do that. You know?
And that guy's busy, dude. He's got a lot of stuff in the fire, which is great. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a testament to his insane drive and hard work. But yeah, Randall, man, he's the best. And we go back and forth and stuff, and he keeps threatening to bring me on to his next project. I'm like, dude, you let me know where and when, man. I'm in. I'm in. With that dude, anything. He would call and ask me to do a dog food commercial, and I'd do it in a heartbeat. Actually, at this point, I would pretty much do anything in a heartbeat. It's been a real drought on the acting front.
Well, I wasn't going to mention that, but since you did, do you have anything in the hopper right now that you're working on?
You know what? There's this feature film project that's been off the shelf and on the shelf and off the shelf and on the shelf that keeps going back. And in fact, I think we talked about it on that episode 10. This is one that's supposed to shoot in the Pacific Northwest, written and directed by a fella named Matt Haley. Really, really good dude. I don't know how much I can kind of divulge about the project, but he had an incredibly visionary producer director attached to get the film greenlit. And that fella passed away. Mm-hmm. So then it kind of got locked in this kind of purgatory of dealing with his estate and still having his so-and-so presents this film by my buddy Matt Haley. So things seem to be kind of working in the right direction on that deal. One of his producers is going to Cannes in a couple of weeks to try to secure financing and all this. It's not going to be a huge deal. But it is a role that he wrote specifically for me. So I'm very excited about that. It's going to be a pretty challenging deal if it ever does come to fruition. And aside from that, I mean, even auditions and stuff have become very scarce, man. It's been a really tricky, I'd say probably 10 months where when I was really cooking on gas and there was a lot of projects happening and I was auditioning frequently, I would do 2 auditions a week, sometimes 3 on a really busy week for episodic or for a movie or for a commercial or whatever. This calendar year, and here we're already in April, I think I've had 3 total auditions.
Wow.
And that's kind of debilitating, man. I mean, I'm always kind of the opinion that as long as I'm auditioning, I still got my lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you also feel creatively fulfilled because you're constantly creating new characters and trying different stuff out and trying to do interesting choices and stay on the casting director's radar. And it's been so dry, man. And it's not just for me. I certainly hope. I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't hope anybody is having like these kind of drought conditions, but I think it's just the state of the industry at the moment. And so much has happened over the span of the past 5.5 years or so between COVID and then the writers and actors strikes and a lot of runaway production, which basically means that studios and networks and streaming services are electing to go film outside of the U.S. So you're seeing a lot of stuff happen in Budapest and Romania and Ireland and the U.K. and New Zealand. Well, for somebody like me who's not going to be the lead or a series regular on a massive project, they're not flying me to New Zealand to do 2 episodes of a TV show. You know,
right?
They do a lot of local hires in places like that, which can be a good and a bad thing. You know, oftentimes that means projects are done non-union. So despite the fact that they being the studios and the Producers Guild and all that, despite the fact that they feel like they're saving money, the days take longer because the crews aren't as professional, right? So you would think, okay, well, we're going to go and save X amount of dollars and we're going to have these tax rebates and incentives to happen to go shoot in other countries. But the film infrastructure itself is still, in some of these places, like really in its infancy. So what you think you might be saving in overhead, you're actually spending the equivalent in labor costs and extra days and extra time shooting. And that's not to say that there aren't fantastic film crews all over the world, because there certainly are. But it used to be that the bulk of an American production would be made up of American crew people that would then go to these locations and shoot. When I was a production assistant, I went and shot a movie called Tears of the Sun in Hawaii with Bruce Willis, and that was a killer project. It was probably the single most difficult shoot that I'd ever been involved in. But we shot on Oahu, and the jungles and Monowili Falls and all these different places kind of doubled for an unnamed African nation. But almost the entirety of the crew was brought from LA. They were like an LA based crew that's then flown over. They put you in a hotel, they pay your per diem. And that one we were doing crazy days and very long shooting hours. But that could have potentially been a substantially longer shoot had we not had the crew that we had. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that was Adam Sandler's gig. Think about all his latest movies. They're like either take place in Africa or Hawaii. It's like
I think he really likes it there, man.
Yeah.
I always hear about all the shooting and stuff, not shooting like bang, bang, but shooting like movies and whatnot, like in the Bastrop and Austin area and stuff. Is that really happening? Because I don't, like, you hear about it, but I never see anything really come out of that.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot of stuff that's going, but it seems to be fairly incremental. So, Taylor Sheridan has bought the 4-6's ranch, so they're doing a lot of stuff there. So
yeah,
they did pieces of the Madison, which is his new episodic. I didn't watch it yet, but my buddy
did some of that up here, and it was. And I'll be honest with you, I like most of his stuff. Didn't care for that one.
Yeah. My buddy John Lee is a lighting technician and like a second unit gaffer. And he works on all that Taylor Sheridan stuff. So he's been on Yellowstone. He did Bass Reeves with them. He did the Madison. But a lot of those projects split time between Montana and Texas.
Okay.
So he's got stuff going on in the kind of Weatherford, Fort Worth, Dallas area. Yeah. And then The Chosen, I think, is shot in and around Midlothian. And then there's always a handful of things that are going on in Austin. In fact, most recently I read for a project that's Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, like for, I think an Apple TV deal. And I actually read for 2 different roles for that one. The second read, I went for it, man. And I thought it was hilarious. But there is definitely something. So I read the first one and I skewed a little bit too young for the character they were looking for, but they liked that read enough to bring me back to play this other fella. And I'll text it to you guys, man. It's funny, but okay. I was really had my fingers crossed for that one because I would love to meet those dudes and get a chance to work with them, especially right in your own backyard,
Yeah, well, and they live there too. I mean, it's their backyard too,
Yeah, exactly. And they're, by all accounts, they're incredibly good buddies. I think they like to hang out and burn a little and kick back or whatever else.
I heard
some bongos.
That they have actually done genetics between the two of them to figure out if they're related because they think they might really be related. Yeah. Like closely related.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's nutty. I think it's possible that they share the same mom. Is that what the angle was?
Yeah, that's what the angle was. And they're like, and then it was all hush hush afterwards. I'm like, well, did they find out and now they don't want to say or what's going on? Anyway,
who knows, man? Who knows?
I wanted to say too, like you have sent me a couple things that you've done to like when you've done, when you've auditioned for stuff and I'm blown away. Like knowing you and then you doing that is like, how?
You're like, a different person.
How do you get there? And then how does someone not put you in something? I'm just like, how? And then I'll bring this up and you can shut me down if you want to. When the last time we spoke in person, you had told me about a tryout for one of Taylor Sheridan's thing. It was like 1883 or 1923 or whatever.
1883, yeah.
And then you showed it to me. And I'm like, how? And then Billy Bob Thornton gets it. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
I get it. I get it.
You know, I mean, that's one of those things. So kind of going back from the whole process. So, you know, everything you do is in service to the script. Like that's the whole point for acting. You got to play to the height of your character's intelligence. So even if you're playing somebody who's a total dumbass or somebody who's a maniac or a psychopath or you know, just the friendly neighbor next door or whatever, you've got to play to the height of that character's intelligence. You're never making fun of the character that you're playing. And even if it's a comedic role, you're not, I can't say never, but you're not intended to make a joke out of this person. The character exists as a figment of the writer's imagination, and your job is to take the words that you're given and create a backstory and create a very unique perspective and a unique point of view, and then convey that through your speech patterns and your physicality and your delivery of the lines. Right. You know, a lot of times you'll do stuff where there's very, very little dialogue, and I almost like that stuff more than anything. I really appreciate writers who employ an economy of words. You know, they're not sitting there saying like, oh, I'm such a brilliant artist and writer that I'm going to fill every space of every second with chatter and dialogue, you know?
Right.
You know, Robert Altman was notorious as a director for having very talky, very rapid fire dialogue where people and people would speak over each other. It was like a sound mixer, a sound engineer's nightmare, because they're like, dude, I can't get any clean lines because you're letting everybody just talk all over each other. Which for Altman made for very effective storytelling. He was really great at it. So anyways, that's pretty much it for me is you're trying to do justice to the character as it was written and then bring your own personality and your own understanding and the creation of those character traits to that person. And the really cool thing is when you're able to work with a writer who says, I never thought that character was that. You know, right. I didn't see that in that character until I saw that character in you. Which is pretty cool, man. I know that Heard, the film that I was talking about the last time I was on, it came out. We had an awesome premiere in London, and that was the worldwide premiere. And then we had another domestic premiere in Manhattan. And that was awesome. My parents got to come to that one. It was really cool. Tamara was by my side for both. And that was a great one in London because she was in her, you know, that's her element, dude. She misses that city big time, the same way I miss LA. But there was one scene where we were sitting kind of in this big dining hall and the action was happening behind me. And the two main characters were having a very intense private conversation. Well, essentially in that scene, I was just an extra. I mean, my character was pretty substantial throughout the course of the film, but there was a moment where one of the characters said something and I just turned really slowly because I had my back to the camera and I just turned really slowly and I just give him this look. Like, I know what you two are up to, man. I'm tuned in. You might think I'm a moron, but I'm into it. And the director, Stephen Pierce, called cut and he's like, dude, that was fantastic. Like, make sure you do that every take. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm in the scene with him. I'm not talking to him and my back's to the camera, but that doesn't mean I'm not engaged in what's happening behind me. Right. I think it's very easy for people just to kind of sit there and fold their arms and wait until they're released from the set and go back to the trailer and sit around. Man, I'd rather I like being there, you know, and with that one in particular, your process changes a little bit once you book the role. I probably read that script 80 times before we filmed it. So like any second of any day and any scene that we're doing, I knew not only what my character was up to, but if it was scene work that had nothing to do with me, I knew where we were in the course of the story. I kind of started thinking to myself, okay, so this is essentially kind of a real-time exposition. I need to know what my guy is doing while all this other stuff's happening too, so I can bring something to it in terms of thought process to what's going on. As far as not getting stuff, dude, you know, you're not going to get everything, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's weird. My booking rate has slid. I mean, obviously, with fewer opportunities, you're not going to book as often. But, you know, you hear from casting directors all the time. They're like, well, you know, there's a million reasons why you don't get it. And literally only one person gets the gig, you know, so that makes it tricky, too. It's not like you know, 6 people get the same role. One person gets it, right? Like one person gets that job. And
odds are stacked.
They're stacked, man. And, you know, there's a pretty decent sized talent pool, especially now with the advent of self-tapes and everything, where people can literally audition from all over the planet, send your taped audition in, and then casting will follow up and pursue that, you know, if that's what it comes down to. But also part of the booking stuff is there's a show called The Cleaning Lady on Fox. Are you familiar with this show?
Yeah,
I've read for that a bunch. And in the beginning of season 3, I think, my New Mexico agent brought me in for a recurring role. And this was another one of those ones where I felt great about it. I did the audition. I did the callback. You know, we had some notes and tried some different things. And I think, it was like a 6-episode arc. So it would have been really cool. Well, this thing shot in Albuquerque, and the production called my agent and said, we need to know if Jeremy's willing to work in New Mexico as a local hire. Now, what that essentially means is I'm responsible for my airfare, for my ground transportation. I don't get paid per diem. So you're telling me 20th Century Fox, this major media conglomerate with tons of money, you can't afford to fly me from Austin to Albuquerque when you need me to work, and you can't afford to put me in a hotel. I'm not doing that on my own dime, and especially not for 6 episodes. I mean, this is what's crazy is they would call you on a Tuesday and be like, okay, we need you on set on Wednesday. I mean, last minute flights and stuff, these things get pricey. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there going like, okay,
you're in the hole.
I did 6 episodes worth of filming, and you'll break even and you'll get some good film and you'll get a good bump on your resume. But that doesn't seem fair to me, dude. I don't think you should have to pay to get to work. And so these things are happening now again all over the place with the local hire stuff that we were talking about beforehand, where productions will say, well, we want you to be the part, but we want you to pay your way. Otherwise, we're just going to hire somebody who's willing to work as a local hire, because people will do that. I won't do that. I mean, if it was the absolute perfect fit and it was something that I truly believed in and thought was going to be a career changing or career defining role for me, I would consider it. But man, I'm not trying to set myself up for 6 weeks of Airbnbs and flights and stuff, rental cars and whatever. I mean, I just don't. I think that's inherently wrong. So, you know, but some people will do it, and for those people that are willing to do it, I wish they would. I wish they wouldn't. I wish they would stand their ground and be like, dude, if you want me and my services as a professional, you're gonna pay for it, dude. You know.
Yeah, that's how it would be at any other job, right? Paying you to do what you do.
Right.
Get you a travel trailer.
Yeah. Well,
set you up in the campground.
Yeah, exactly. Just give me a little pop tent or a hammock or something.
Hey, that's a thought. I mean,
yeah. Well, dude, that's not a lot of guys on film crews that are they're not locked into one location. I've heard stories about dudes and ladies who will get like Sprinter vans.
Yeah, those are
and
nice.
Totally pimp them out, and they have their stove, they have their fridge, they have their sleeping quarters, they have all their stuff. So it's
that's
like,
what I want. Yeah,
you need me to go to Colorado and shoot something, I'll be there in 2 days. Stuff like that. So a lot of folks will do that, and it just saves money on their housing allowance and whatever.
The industry that I'm in, we sell those to people that do that all the time.
Oh, no way.
All the time.
Convert them into campers.
Because if you buy one that's a few years older and it's basically a shell, it's a lot cheaper. You go buy one that's already been done, it's $100,000.
Yeah.
Oh, easy.
Almost. Yeah. So, but anyway, I do want to ask you or mention one more thing before we jump into talking about some of the past episodes. Have you ever thought of doing voice stuff? Because you have this amazing voice.
Yeah, you know what? I've considered it, but I never really sat down to do it. And this is the crazy thing. You know, I'm in Tamara's studio right now. She's got a full-on professional recording studio. So I've done a couple of things where I've had voiceover auditions. One was for like Black Box Wine, and then there's been a couple other ones. There was some like video game voiceover thing where I did this really kind of half-assed British accent. that wasn't ideal. Yeah, I've considered it, but it also, I think it requires a lot of work and a lot of focus. And I just don't know if I have the bandwidth for it.
I can see your voice being like the voice of some, manly whiskey,
Beef. It's what's for dinner.
I mean,
Coors,
your
banquet
normal
beer.
speaking voice is just a great voice.
Well, that makes me feel good. I appreciate it.
But anyway, let's jump into a little bit too, because I know you've listened to a bunch of these. So, for whatever reason, we couldn't do 50 episodes of, hey, let's talk about every one, since 100 to 50. But I've picked out a few highlights, and I'm just going to see both of y'all's kind of perspective or what y'all thought about these. So in episode 108, we had Jason London on. So those of you who don't know who Jason London is, he's known for being, Randall Pink Floyd on Dazed and Confused. And it was a big moment for me because that was such a. But I've watched that film, without exaggeration, probably at least 50 times. And to have him on was it was one of the moments where I got a little starstruck. I get a little nervous, and I don't really do that. And he's become a friend too, kind of like Al Randall. And anyway, it was a big thing for me. I can't thank him enough for doing it. We still talk and whatnot. And I don't know. I don't think it was such a big hit with Josh, because did you not watch that movie before, or you only once, twice, or what?
I've a couple of times.
Okay, I don't know. Was that one a big one for you back in the day, Jeremy?
Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that's a great film. It's weird too. There's a ton of really, really good actors in there, and you go back and look at it, and you're like, whoa.
That was a first for a lot of those those guys.
Yeah. I mean, Affleck was in there. Cole Hauser was in there.
McConaughey.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey was Wooderson.
Yeah.
What's the dang
Parker Posey was in it.
Parker Posey.
She was great. Ben Affleck. Did we already say him?
Yeah. What was the other guy? There was a couple other guys. The guy who played Slater, and I can't remember his name right now for some. Coltrane.
What's that?
And his last name Coltrane.
Rory, I think, is his first name. Yeah. I actually met that dude at a bar in LA, man. He's a really, really, really nice dude. And he had just done, I think, he had just done Argo. So he was in Argo with Scoot McNairy, and Scoot's a Dallas guy, and I've known that dude for 20 plus years, man. And that dude is a phenomenal actor. But he had either just done Fargo with Scoot, and that's kind of how I got to talking to him, or he had just done Fury, like the tank movie with Brad Pitt, I think. Yeah. Anyhow, he's super, super nice dude.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the big ones from me. And then just kind of playing off of Randall Pink Floyd, as I was talking about Randall Reeder, he is coming back like I talked. So we're going to talk with him about his producing of the Orange County Choppers, the original, because that was his big project. Him and Remy Carter have been working on for quite some time, and they finally got that all done. Shout out Remy. He's supposed to come on the show too. Why don't you call me back, bro? And then another one that was really cool for me too, and is because now I'm really starting to collect his art, is Billy Perkins. I don't know if y'all remember that one. I know Josh does, but he does all of this artwork for bands, like their official posters for wherever they're going for that
tour posters and stuff.
Here, pan your camera over. Let's see it.
Oh, actually, there's that one right over there is an Alice in Chains one that I just got from him. It's so freaking cool, man. And he does all these amazing artwork, man. And I've got several of them in here. But he was one of my favorite ones, and I just wanted to mention him. And if you want something, or if you're interested in looking at stuff, you can go to billyperkins.bigcartel.com and see all that stuff. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Josh, was there anyone you want to talk about before I keep going? Because I'll just keep going.
No.
Keep going. Okay.
Let her rip.
So we all know Andy Wozniak, right? Do you know Andy?
Yeah,
Jeremy?
of course. Sure.
So when
That was a wild
came on,
story,
that
man.
was a wild story, man. He was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and he got out of all of it. But he was a drug mule to Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to that episode, that's episode 111. Go listen to it. Andy was very candid. He got me almost in a little trouble talking about different names, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had to edit some things out, so a few people got upset with me. But that one's a really good one. If you're listening now and you haven't listened to 111, go to that one. Another one that is super big for me is because I'm such a big fan of the movies was Keith Coogan. Keith Coogan is the nicest freaking dude. He came on, talked to us like we were all friends for an hour straight without stopping, and I never got bored. It was amazing. He's just been, his family is they're basically royalty in Hollywood. I mean, the kid's account is called Coogan account.
Yeah, it's called the Coogan Law, as a matter of fact, and that's super important. I listened to that episode, and I didn't realize that was his family's namesake. But that's that kind of deal revolutionized child labor in film and television. I mean, it's nutty. I mean, if you have infants, they can only be on set for a total of 20 minutes in a day.
Wow.
Right. And there's other protections. So as the kid ages and until they get to be 18, and they do this a lot of times when they're casting kind of young adult roles, they'll look for an actor who's 18 but can play younger, because that way they're considered adults. Well, if you have a kid, even if it's an infant, a baby, there has to be a studio teacher on the lot and present, even though what are you going to teach an infant? But it's almost more like an extra layer of keeping things on the up and up and making sure people aren't abusing the time frames and stuff like that. That's why also, especially with little kids, they'll try to get identical twins like Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen from Full House, because all of a sudden your shooting day, the time with those kids doubles. Right. So, and if you're doing minutes. Stuff, right. Well, those are, once they get to the point where they're like 6 years old, they can be on for 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah. Right.
But they also have to have incremental breaks. They also have to have a certain designated time and place for schooling. But the Coogan Laws did all of that. Before that, it was the Wild West for kids. You just like get them in there and just shoot until they're done, and then that's it. But that's also one of those kind of old axioms in filmmaking is you're never supposed to shoot with kids, animals, or water elements because they're all super unpredictable. You can't necessarily direct a child. And that's why also when you do infant stuff in particular, they look for twins or triplets. Because if you've got one baby who's fussy and one baby who's happy and one baby who's really chattery, well, put him away and get the other one in here and see if we can have some better luck. But
that's funny. Going back to Keith, the other reason I was such a big fan of him, but one of my favorite movies of all time is Toy Soldiers, and he's in that, and I'm just like, and Riker is a big fan of that movie because I showed it to him, and so it's kind of got a little special thing with me. But dude, that guy is the nicest guy, and now he's a on the Sony lot. He's a tour guide.
Yeah, check that out.
Yeah, and so I'm like, dude, we have to get to LA so we can go on his tour.
Oh, that would be super cool, man. That would be really cool.
Yeah, so he does like all these cons and whatnot, and him and his wife, what's her name, Pinky, and then he does that's what his real job, if you will, is he's a tour guide at the Sony lot, and that's where his whole family did all their movies and all their stuff from years and years and years ago. So it's just a cool story altogether when you put it together. But
well, I'll tell you what, man, that lot is super cool. And it's a great lot. It's right in Culver City. Off of Pico Boulevard. They've got a massive like Star Wars mural on one of the big elephant doors.
Nice.
They've got an awesome New York street there. That's like where the home of the, am I thinking maybe I'm getting it confused with the Fox lot. Anyway, the big studios are all really
You
beautiful.
had me at Star Wars, Jeremy.
Yeah,
You
my
had me at
favorite
Star
one.
Wars.
I think that's actually Fox. Now that I think about it, because it's like Star Wars and it was 20th Century Fox deal. But Sony is a different deal. But like Paramount's a great studio. Universal was the first studio that I ever worked on. Universal was crazy because you would see the trams going by with all the tourists and all the tour guides and stuff, and you're just like riding a bike to the stage. You know, it is crazy.
Let's go.
Trick Pony Studio is a line of graphic tees inspired by iconic vintage t-shirts with an undeniably Texas twang. The super cool all-original graphics are printed on a t-shirt that's so incredibly soft that it's almost guaranteed to be your next favorite t-shirt. Trick Pony is the creative endeavor of Temple artist and designer Brian Stokes. Check out his stuff at trickponystudio.com.
Did you listen to the Westfall, Jason Westfall episode?
No, I haven't heard that one yet.
Okay, you have to go listen to it. This guy has done some crazy shit, man. Sorry, Mom. He literally was a camel jockey. He literally rode ostriches and raced to them. He was blacklisted by the women at the University of TCU, Texas Christian University.
Wow.
He is it's the most unconventional, how did we put it, resume you've ever heard in your life. This dude has done some crazy stuff. And what's funny about the whole story is I knew Jason when he was young, and he was kind of this straight-laced guy, was super good at soccer, very intelligent guy. Never in my thoughts I would ever think that when I started talking to him and before he came on the show, he's like, yeah, dude, I was with the carnival. I hung out with midgets. Sorry, that's probably a bad word to say out loud. Small
That
people.
is so crazy, man.
He literally rode camels and ostriches and all this crazy stuff. And he admits to it too. He was addicted to steroids and stuff because he went into bodybuilding at one point. He was a cameraman at one point. He was doing what was the other thing he did? He was a stuntman. He's done all this crazy stuff, man. It's a great episode. So again, people listening, episode 142, go check out Jason Westfall. It's nice. And then now he's back in Temple and he owns a business that hauls junk away.
Fair enough. Solid gig.
Yeah. It's like, what kind of round? That was the most oval circle ever to make it back to Temple. But this one I want to touch on too is episode 145, and this is your brother-in-law Ben Keenan.
Oh yeah.
Ben was super cool, man. He was so nice. It was just enough to hear the accent. You didn't even care what he was saying. You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
But what was cool about him was we went into it to talk to him about his acting and whatnot, and I had no idea that he was actually doing a lot of stand-up.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really, and I even looked it up, and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Man, he's killing it." I went and listened to some of it. I'm like, "This dude's great."
Yeah, he's really good. He did a show. Tamara set him up with a show at the Comedy Store in L.A., and I think he mentioned that in the episode. But we gathered up a bunch of people. We probably rolled in there 20 deep, just friends and stuff, and people who had met Ben because he's been coming back and forth to L.A. He's been to Texas now to visit us, but he was coming to LA probably once a year, if not more, just because there's opportunities and he was trying to do stuff out in LA and stuff. Man, his set at the Comedy Store was banging. I mean, he had people rolling, dude. And he's kind of eased back into it. I think, in fact, it might have been the day that you guys recorded with him. I think he went and did a set that night or maybe the next night or something. And he was just really, for him, I think he was just trying to knock the rust off a little bit because that stand-up is so hard, man. It is, I think, honestly, it's probably the single most difficult thing to do in show business. I mean, you have to be able to be captivating and funny or outrageous or no matter what, there's an incredible amount of preparation involved. You know, a lot of times people think, oh, they're just really good at talking. I mean, you hear interviews with George Carlin where he's like, I write the same joke 60 different ways until I can get it to hit. You know, Seinfeld's a similar deal where he's like, it's all about crafting the joke and telling it in such a way that is not only funny, but it's also thought provoking. And Ben's stand up is topical. He's a really good impressionist as well. He does a lot of really good voices and a lot of cool different takes on stuff. He's a uniquely talented person, and it's crazy too because he's had a pretty reasonable amount of success as a commercial actor. And I think you see that a lot with stand-ups as well because they're just always on their toes. You know, they're quick to go for it. But there is a time GoDaddy.com, he was like the spokesman for GoDaddy. And so he was on the side of double-decker buses in London. Tamara was telling me, she's like, I'd be going out to go walk, and then Ben's head is on the side of a bus. I'm like, this is insane.
He didn't mention that. I'm texting him tomorrow.
Yeah, you should. And he did a really great IKEA spot. He's done like dishwashing detergent. He did an American one for Cologuard for the colon checking thing.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, which is crazy because he actually shot that in Spain, and he has an American accent. You know. Anyway, he's a great dude, man. We haven't seen him since he was down in Texas the last time. I miss him, man. He's the best, dude. He's the best.
He was like, I felt like I had hung out with that guy for, a week, and it was just, 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I was like, this dude's great. But the thing is too, like you're going back to the stand-up thing. When someone with an accent like that comes to America, they can get away with so much more. It's freaking great. They get away with because like Jim Jeffries, I mean, if you know who Jim Jeffries is,
the Australian
that dude, man, he says some stuff that I'm like, I can't believe he said that shit out loud. And he gets away with it because of that damn accent,
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
At least here in America.
There's like a poetry involved to it, And even the swear words and stuff, they come across as just a very well-woven part of the dialogue. It doesn't come across as like this glaring thing. It's just like
they get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can swear with the best of them, but it doesn't sound nearly as elegant as when Tamara does it.
Exactly. It's so true though. And then they're using I'm not going to say the C word left and right, and I'm like, how are they getting away with it? If we used the CUNT right here, we'd probably get shut down.
Well, that's also depending on what part of the world you're in, and depending on the context of the conversation, how it's delivered. It's also a term of endearment.
Exactly.
So it's like okay. But I think here it definitely has a much harsher edge, and I think it's really laced with meanness and anger. But if you go to the UK and say it, Ireland or Scotland, those guys, they just do it like you're talking to your buddy, Yeah,
it's almost like, me and you were talking, I'm like, oh, you asshole. Whatever, we're just joking. But they're using that word, and it's like, whoa, hang on a minute. We don't want people to die. Come on. But okay, so we'll keep moving on. So recently, it just came out this is 150, so 2 weeks ago was the 148 Natalie Kirby Nelson. And if you haven't listened to that one, that's a must listen. It was a big, huge scam over someone that had cancer.
Oh my!
And if you haven't listened to that, go listen to that. And you can also, when you go, you can go to our Facebook page, and there's a link there. If you scroll down a little to the news thing that happened, that it is a big story. It was crazy, and then because of it, she ended up going into stenography school. Because she got so interested in, because she had to go to court and be a part of this huge ordeal. If you haven't listened to that one yet, or if you're listening and you haven't made it to 148 yet and you're trying to catch up, skip to 148, check it out real quick, because it's a really cool one.
Well, I was going to ask you guys, what to you makes the best guests? When you're looking for people, obviously they have to spark an interest in you in something, whether it be through their profession or your previous relationships with them. But and the second to that, and I think we've talked about this briefly, is if you can't name names, that's fine. but what's the biggest swing and miss that you've had over the span of the 150 episodes?
Josh,
I would say so the thing is, the guests, I like the variety. So it's like I encourage that we try to get different people, different topics as we go along. The thing is, I think everyone has a story to tell. So, there's something there. But what makes for a good guest is someone who talks naturally. It can just, like, you don't have to pull the words out of them. They can just keep talking and going and going. So those end up being some of the best guests because they're just so forthcoming with sharing and their thoughts and whatnot. So,
yeah, I mean, for me, I'm always looking for something that's different. Not just different for being different, but maybe things that people don't think about so much, like the hospice thing that we did. I mean, people just, like, what, y'all are doing a show about hospice, and then I got a lot of feedback on that episode.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow.
Because people didn't really realize what it was. I mean, they know what hospice kind of means, that it's got the end's coming, but a lot of people thought it was real soon. There's so much more to hospice care than people really understood.
Yeah,
I had several people reach out to me, but I mean, the good thing is I have people like Jeremy, yourself, and Lindsay Balabradic, which I'll get to in a minute, and a few people or whatever that you guys help and go, hey, you should check this guy. And I get that a lot, but I have to be careful and who I really work with, and who because some people are just like, come on, really. And then the good thing is too, like here in just the last, I would say 6 months, people are coming to us now.
Nice.
And that's like this we had just a few just recently where they came to us, and that's amazing because it's a lot of work. I don't know people what you think I do all day when it comes to this thing. Like, oh, we turn on a thing and we just start talking. I live on the telephone. I am on my phone all day at my normal job where I'm supposed to be working.
You better be quiet about that one.
And I am.
You're gonna get canned.
Yeah.
And I am, but I'm constant. My phone is nonstop. People are like, dude, you text back faster than anybody I've ever, whatever. And I'm like, because I live by the phone. I have to. Otherwise, this won't happen every week. I mean, every week we put out a freaking episode. Yeah. And there's a lot more to it than what you think. And then there's the back end is, the editing and stuff, which sometimes I hate it and sometimes I like it. But to go back, what was the other thing you asked?
Like the biggest swing and misses. Like
I'll give you one. So, and you know what? He recently friended me and started following me on stuff and whatnot. But whatever. Tony from the band Push Monkey. Push Monkey is a band from Austin that I freaking love. And they were super huge in the 90s. They got signed by Arista Records. They were going to blow up. Arista didn't. They're more of a hip hop label and whatnot. Didn't know how to market them. But anyway, so I reach out to him. Push Monkey's been gone for a long time, but I reach out to him like, man, I would really like to have you on, talk to you, because I'm such a big fan of your band. I listen to you on the normal still, even though you aren't together. And he was a horrible interview. He was kind of cocky. He wanted to do it his way, not our way. He was getting mad because his computer that was ancient wasn't working, and it was our fault or whatever. And I didn't say his last name, so whatever, dude. But that one was a bad one. And I was going to mention this one, and this one was not a bad one. It was just there was two, actually. I'll say two. I've told this one many times, but we had Ian Bagg on, one of my favorite comedians of all time. And me and him just click, and we had a fun time for a full hour. We are laughing our balls off. We lost all the audio.
And you can't recreate that.
He and I mean, he stayed on longer than what he was supposed to because we were laughing our butts off because we were feeding off each other because I love that. And anyway, he was so gracious enough to take time out of his and come back, and it was just not even close to the first go round.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's a hard deal. to lose that audio and then be like, okay, can we just try to reignite that magic? And it's just not the same deal.
Yeah. It was good, but
I kind of feel that way about this episode with me coming on again. It just doesn't have the.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Let me piggyback on that, though. You're great because, and I told Josh this, and he can vouch for me. I said Jeremy will be good because you're used to talking and you're a conversationalist in general. I mean,
sure.
You like to cut it up with everybody. You like to talk. It's in you. It's like your dad. He's the same way.
Right.
He loves talking and hanging out.
Right.
But another one that we're gonna try to redo at some point is with Noah Dunham.
Oh wow.
So Noah is in Jakarta, Indonesia, and he's been there for quite some time. He has a really, really cool story about how he got there, and then the culture differences and all that it's such a good story. We did one with him, and unfortunately, just being that far away, it just couldn't capture the audio well enough for us to put it out.
Yeah.
So we're going to do one with him again. He was recently in the States for a couple of days and didn't tell me, and I was pissed too. I let him know. I'm like, you're in the States, just 45 minutes, sit down and talk to us. But he's like, yeah, I almost did, but I knew it wasn't going to be good because I was in such a hurry to get in and out and go back to Jakarta. So we're going to do another one with him. But those, I think, were probably.
And like Peter Dante, we tried to have him on 3 times.
Oh yeah. Peter Dante is great. Like, I mean, people who don't know who that is, he's been in all the Adam Sandler movies and whatnot. I've got this little rapport with him and whatnot, but
we could probably piece together an episode with all that.
Well, he told me, he said, take what you got and make like, funniest home videos with it, or funniest Dante or whatever. Because, okay, he doesn't care. So I'm going to tell his story. When he came on the first time, he was sitting on the toilet, smoking out, had just taken a gummy, and he broke the toilet while we're trying to talk to him. And if you have to know Peter to understand it, he is go, no stopping. Whatever you say, he's talking over you. I mean, he's just
all over walking around the house with his
and he had to, unfortunately, what we use to do the podcast does not talk to it talks to an iPhone, but not an iPad. And I told him over and over and over, no iPad. So what does he do? iPad every single time.
Yeah.
So it captured little pieces of what he was doing, and we need to piece it together and just put it out as like a Follies type deal because it's hilarious.
Nice.
It is hilarious. So yeah, I forgot about Peter. Oh, Peter. Actually, hang on. There's old Pete right there.
Oh, nice. There he is.
But I will say this, though, about Peter Dante. He is the nicest dude. He will pray with you. He will hug you like you're his brother. He's a very genuine fella.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he was a good one. You want to add anything, Josh, before we kind of start?
I'm going to throw 2 names out there. Some very popular local favorites were Jan Ward and Mike Dent.
Yeah, Jan Ward was a very big one for a lot of us that are our age because, or I shouldn't even say our age, probably a span of 30 years, really.
Yeah, sure. As a teacher's career goes.
But, Jeremy, you had told me about her and you and about 50 other people.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was, and I'm exaggerating, but I bet at least 10 people are like, you got to have her on. And when I spoke to her the first time, she was very, very timid. And once we got her on, though, I told her, I said, look, you're going to get on here and we're going to start talking about stuff that you like, and you're going to start talking. And she did, and it was great.
Oh, yeah. No, that was a great episode. In fact, I saw her recently and I told her, I said, listen, you did such a great job on that, on Heath and Josh's podcast. And she's like, oh, I was so nervous and I don't like, and all this. But she sounded, again, this is a testament to you guys and how good you are at doing this. Is she seemed entirely comfortable. She didn't seem like she was nervous. She didn't seem like she was tripping over words or anything like that. She was really just tuned in. And I think it's because you guys are super engaging. And then as far as Mike Dent's concerned, he's the buffalo or the pizza wings and things guy. Isn't he?
Yeah. He was a little long-winded, but man, he was. I mean, you'll be honest with you, more people listened to that episode than anybody else that's from Temple Safar besides Bob McQueen.
Oh wow!
Yeah, Bob McQueen was huge.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, he a lot of people admire that man. A ton of people, and he was super cool too. And I'm like, I'm ready for my free wings, man. Come on. But anyway, oh man, you had said something, and I was going to say it now. I can't remember what it was. It'll come back to me in a minute. But
and then lastly, I want to say one really fun recent guest was Ray Palusik.
Yeah, Ray was gone. Ray was cool. Ray was cool.
The piano man.
Yeah, the piano man Ray. Ray's cool, and shout out Ray and his girlfriend Ivy. She's fun too. We've been going back and forth on Facebook, giving each other a hard time.
Nice
here lately. So, but yeah, I mean, going back to what the original thing. I mean, this is what I was going to say. What I try to do is, and Josh knows this because I tell him all the time. He's probably sick of hearing it. Is when someone comes on and I can immediately tell they're nervous or whatever, I try to break them with something funny. Something that I know that they think is funny, if that makes any sense.
Sure, yeah.
I read them pretty well. I'm a pretty good reader of people. And I'm like, okay, this is the type of humor they have. I can tell they're dry or I can tell they're this. I'm going to hit them with that. They get that smile and I'm like, all right, we got him. Here we go. Let's do this.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
that's what I do. And then the other thing is getting people on is how did you phrase that, Josh?
Pleasantly persistent.
That's what I am. I will wear you out, but I do it in the nicest way possible so that you'll come on our show, and then people come on the show and they're like, man, that was so much fun. Thank you so much. Hey, all these people that didn't know who I am know who I am now. I'm like, yeah, it's really cool. It's a fun thing. It's really fun.
Definitely. That's super cool. And it's also, I think that's really cool that you're starting to see people reaching out to you because they're interested in being guests or they're interested in telling their story. It's a great platform for that.
Yeah. And our network went from this to just, I mean, when you start thinking about it, and this is a little far fetched. I mean, we're like 1 degree away from Adam Sandler and we're 1 degree away from Ryan Reynolds and we're one, and you start putting that in your head. The problem is people like that are very hard to get a hold of.
And sure. They're super.
The amount of tape you have to jump through and their management and their publicists and their, oh my God, it's like, I'll do one of those and then I will let it doesn't work out or whatever. And I go back to just, for the lack of better terms, normal people for like the next 5. And then I get back into it because I'm juggling about 5 people right now that would be considered small celebrities. It's wearing me out. Wearing me out, man.
Yeah, and it's also tricky when you're dealing with management types and agency representation and all this and that, because oftentimes those guys have their hands in the pot, right? So if they're sitting there saying like, okay, if you're going to want to take advantage of my client's time, there's a dollar value to that hour and a half that you're going to need. So yeah.
Well, I won't say a name, but I will. I just went through this with someone who's from Central Texas, and this person, I dealt with their handler, if you will. They wanted $7,500 for 30 minutes, and and I'm like, we're a podcast from Central Texas. We are not going to pay anybody $7,500.
Right?
I mean, we can't afford to do that, and I can't say who it was, but it's not someone that is worthy of $7,500 for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
This person was in one really big movie and then a lot of little bitty tiny stuff that no one really knows about.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so it's like a money grab. But
oftentimes. And I think some of that's because that's what the market will bear. I mean, you're looking at circumstances where you have influencers who get paid $1,000 a day for a 3-month contract for posting 2 clips on Instagram or something. I mean, it's absurd, man.
Yeah. And I get it, but come on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on. We all got to help each other. That's the way I always put it with a lot of people on our network. They'll be like this. And I was like, well, let me help you, let me help you. And then later down the line, all you got to do is help me a little bit. Let's do this together.
Yeah, for sure. It all comes back around no matter what.
Yeah. So go ahead, Josh.
So I was going to say, we apologize if we didn't mention you or talk about your episode. Heath and I were looking over the list of the last 50 episodes, and it's like, it's really hard to like have to choose some over other ones. It's like you're all my children, right? You just can't pick the favorites. So our apologies for for not
and I'll let you know my process was I literally just got the list out and went down it real fast, and then something jumped out immediately. I was like, okay, that one, and I did it that fast. I did it in 5 minutes, literally. So again,
but every episode is special to us.
Yeah. They are, and not only that, we realize that not every episode is for everybody, and that's why we're randomness, because you might not like it, and you want to go on to the next one that you will like. So we get that too. I do want to mention, don't forget to go to YouTube, and we're putting everything out on YouTube. If you're listening and you still haven't gone, go watch. My mom watches every Monday and says it's wonderful. So if my mom says it's wonderful,
hi Mom.
I love you. But before we take off, I have a ton of people to thank. So let's do this real quick.
Roll the credits.
And then we'll get out of here. So I really want to thank all of our sponsors from the very beginning to now, even if you're not a sponsor anymore. Brian Stokes with Trick Pony Studio, Adam Yock with Chef Flacco's Gourmet Foods and Salsa, January Kovacevic with Cruise Planners, Michael Washam with Intrinsic Design, Certified Financial Planner, Mark Hen, what's up, Hen? Kristen Gosney, a.k.a. Scooter, with Temple Smiles Family Dentistry, Emma Page Photography, and I can't forget our best friend, Jason Steffen with JTech Solutions. I think I got all of them, but let's go on to people now.
And donors, yeah.
Any and everybody that's ever donated anything to us, if it's money, time, anything, we really appreciate it. We will take all your money, give it to us. Last but not least, there's these people. I mentioned her already, Lindsay and DJ Balabradic. They have just been really, really good to us. Lindsay comes to me pretty often going, hey, think about this, think about that. And it makes me think. And it pushes me to do something that maybe I wasn't going to do, or talk to somebody who I wasn't going to. Stephen and Whitney King, Rob Brandenburg, shout out Rob. What's going on, dude? Love Rob. All of our 140 plus guests. Is that a nuts? 104. It was funny. Someone recently was like, man, dude, you interviewed a lot of people. I was like, yeah. I was like, we have interviewed a lot of people. Let's see, all of our listeners, thank you so much, guys, coming in. I know it's really cool on a Monday morning. It comes out at midnight on Monday, and Monday morning I get my little thing that pops up and tells me how many people at 7 a.m. have already downloaded or listening to our podcast. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. There's 170 people that, whatever. That's really cool. All the new and amazing friendships with so many people that we've made. There's no way I could mention them all, but you all know who you are. The customer service at Async Podcastle. That's who we use. Podcastle was bought out by Async recently, and when that happened, Async has been so good with helping me with customer service stuff when I've had issues. Before Podcastle didn't do that so much. So thank you so much to the Async people for taking my crap. All of our families, especially my mother. My mother listens to every single one, and even when I think she doesn't like one, she always says they're great. I also want to thank my son, who, if you listen to it, that's who says the little intro every time you listen to us. That is my 15-year-old son, and he did that, I think, when he was 13, and we have kept that on there. So, and then also my wife, Cody, who has dealt with all the BS that I create, but she created our website. She runs our website. She does. She just recently did randomness with Heath and Josh taxes. She does all the things in the back, and we really cannot thank my wife anymore. She is just amazing. And then, for me, my ride or die, my Josh over here. And don't get me teared up, boy. Three. We've been doing this for 3 freaking years. It's nuts, and it doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like that. And when people hear that, they're like, what? 3 years? So that makes me feel good, because if you don't feel like it's been 3 years, then you must like what what we're
Yeah.
putting out. If there's anybody else you want to add, Josh?
Thank you, Heath, and glory to God. Thank you,
Fair
God. So.
enough. And Jeremy, thank you for coming on
thank
again
you, Jeremy.
140 episodes later.
Oh, brother, man, I'm telling you guys, it's always an absolute pleasure, man. It's really good to get to visit with you both, and long may it continue, man. I'm really proud of the work that you guys have done so far, and the reach is growing, and everybody that I've turned on to the podcast loves it, and yeah, just keep on with it, man. It's really, really great stuff. You guys should be super proud of this. 150 is no joke of a milestone, man. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours.
Yeah. Well, and I should lastly even say thank you, because you have helped me get many people. You've been so supportive of it. And there's been times where we've talked physically and you've made me think. And that's the thing, is like, I can't just do it the way me and Josh maybe think we want to do it. We really need that insight from someone else from another perspective sometimes to do things we might not have thought about or weren't going to do. So Thank you so much for that, man.
My absolute pleasure, gents.
All right. And, as always, randomnesspodcast.com. All you new listeners, y'all don't have shirts yet. Go to randomnesspodcast.com, go down to the merch, click on that sucker. It'll take you to our Etsy site. I know there's shirts and stuff in there, and there's a few other things in there. I can't remember what's all in there anymore because I haven't checked in a while, but go buy some shirts. One more thing. There's a big kind of announcement coming up for us. We're going to do a live show for our first time in about a month or so. I can't tell you any more than that, but except for it will be in Temple.
Nice.
And then there's some other collaborations going on there.
As it approaches, you'll learn about it. So.
And we will probably starting to promote that very soon. So be a lookout for that. And again, thank you, listeners, and everybody for your support. We will catch you guys at 151 next week.
Thank y'all.
We are gone.